I don't know why my camera is not coming on, but I have guests in the house that I'm going to bring in. I have Kunle Wiseman Ajayi, and I have Ina Okopi Ago. I'm gonna gentlemen, you're welcome. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Kunle
Yes.
Wiseman, awesome, awesome. Thank you guys, thank you guys. I know you guys have very beautiful faces, and there's insurance on your face, so you limit how many times you let people see your face, but that's fine. Anyways, let's get a little bit serious here. Um, Mr. Ina Okopi, please go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone and help us understand your position or your relationship with the African Action Congress.
Yeah, good evening, sir, and thank you for having us. My name is Ina, and at the party level, I'm one of the servants of the party. Uh, at the NWC level, I'm also one of the servants too, as I serve in the position of secretary of the party. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ina. Today, the news broke out on Vanguard newspaper, on so many other news platforms, and also these pictures like this emerged, and there was talk about a merger between the African Action Congress (AAC) and the People's Redemption Party (PRP). Can you please confirm to us the validity of this trending issue?
Thank you very much. Um, what is coming out today as news to the public began shortly after um, the leadership of Omoyele Sowore was recognized by the appeal court in the judgment that was delivered on the 2nd of June 2022 after a more than 3 years um, uh, challenge with regaining control of the party after an expelled member of the party hijacked it. And then we went straight from um, regaining control of the party to organizing Congress. I mean, primaries for all levels of uh, positions being contested for in the 2023 general election. Shortly after that, um, there was a need within the same month to hold some form of meetings with people who were reaching out to work with the party. And then um, the relationship with the PRP of Vanguard, led by Abdul Majid Yakubu Daudu, came into being. So the discussion began from back in late June, and then a team of very smart people within the party was set up to interface with them. And that discussion took a while, and some of the gray areas were cleared off. And we had a further meeting not too long ago during the launch of the presidential campaign in Kano. I was in attendance, and the presidential candidate and chairman Sowore too was in attendance. And we had Juwon, who was also present at the time, and the deputy national chairman of the party for the Northwest was also present at the meeting. At the meeting, we agreed that we're going to have further meetings to look at areas where we could work together. And so what this means is the one of the I think the oldest party in Nigeria today, by the alliance that were has been worked out, uh, we're going to see them adopt all our candidates across the country as theirs. They will canvass for votes. And for most people who do not know the PRP is a very one of the I think the oldest party even as we stand. It was the party of people like Balarabe Musa, Minu Kano, Abubakar Rimi, and a host of others. It was really the People's Party from the 70s, 80s, and of course 90s, even up until today. And so their root in the north is very strong, especially the northern part of the country. When I say the north, I mean the northeast, northwest, and north central. And that is not to say that they do not also have members across other regions. They do. And so, what this alliance will do for the party is to ensure, it would ensure that by the time the elections come around, we're sure to begin to sweep votes from even deep country as far as all the states of the north are concerned. And so we're happy with this, the news today, and talks still continue to uh, deepen the root of this alliance. And only the best should be expected from what just happened. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ina Okopi Agu. Um, it's interesting. A lot of people have always seen the African Action Congress as a group of people, and by extension, our convener and presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore, as people with a very, very um, set mindset. That's hard mindset, unmovable, unshakable, unbendable. They've even accused African Action Congress and even members of the Take It Back movement and Revolution Now and every other thing that is associated with Take It Back movement as people who are not willing to work with any other person, who believe that their ideology, their program is sacrosanct, is unchangeable, is cast in concrete. So it will be a surprise to a lot of them to see that this merger is happening. But most interestingly, from what you have just said now, is that all this while, when they were thinking that AAC as a party and Omoyele Sowore was not interacting with people, that talks were actually happening. So my question, and one thing I want you to clarify, is it really true that AAC just likes to run on their own, is not relating with anybody, is not rubbing minds or forming alliances? And if it is true, what kind of other alliances does the African Action Congress, AAC as a party, have with people who you will consider or organizations that you will consider stakeholders in this election?
Thank you very much, sir, for that very interesting question. What I can say to you is this. This alliance has proven to people who consider us difficult to work with as untrue. Um, Someone had asked me tonight, just this evening. By the way, I'm in Kaduna. I came into Kaduna for an engagement, and tomorrow we'll get into a celebratory mode to celebrate this alliance with our team here in Kaduna tomorrow evening. Um, Yes, they have called us difficult, like I said in my opening statement, but this success has proven them wrong. But the question we should be asking people who consider us difficult is this. People have met me. Let me take some time to just go through something so you can understand why they think we're difficult. If you remember the National Conscience Party, NCP, that was led by the late Gani Fawaheni, and then there's the PRP, then there's the Labour Party, then there's the AAC. Now, these parties I have mentioned were originally designed to be people's party, the generality of the people are supposed to embrace this as their party because the focus is the people, not profit. The ideology is basically socialist in outlook. It is not like the neoliberal parties like the APC and then the PDP and the rest of them. We are about the people. And so, because we're about the people and we believe that chapters 2 of Nigeria's constitution, which is that every good, every profit, every money that the state gets is supposed to be used for the good of the people. This is not what the other parties believe in. They are concerned about um, ensuring the welfare of just a certain group of people, and we focus on the larger population. And so, where you have differences in ideology, it is oftentimes difficult for you to form such a marriage. And the question I would ask them most times when they say, we don't work with people, the question is when a bird and a fish fall in love and they get married, where would they live? It is almost impossible to cement such a relationship. The Labour Party was to represent such an ideology, but over time, the Labour Party eventually became the graveyard or the orphanage of failed politicians from parties that have no ideologies, people without ideology. Once they failed somewhere, they jumped to the Labour Party. And so that diluted the essence of what the Labour Party was actually created to serve. So when they call us difficult to work with, the simple reason is these other parties have no ideology. There is nothing they have to sell to the people besides looking for platforms to win election. And when you meet such people who do not have ideology, they cannot understand why you are steadfast about what you believe in. That is why they call us difficult. But then, even as talks are ongoing with other groups that we may not mention here until it's made public, of course, the different discussions are going on. We will not make this public until we finally cement with other groups. People are reaching out to us who are ready to work with the African Action Congress. One, because they know that what we represent and the manifesto we have put out is the one that will set a befitting standard for future generations. So they call us difficult. Like I've said, it is because they do not have ideology. And so they can't understand why people would believe so strongly about something and hold on to it. That is the simple reason, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Um, Comrade Kunle Wiseman Ajayi, if there's anybody that should be happy with this kind of relationship, you would be one of them. And will you let us know why? There's something that Ina said. Ina said that if there's very, very impactful statement is made now, that a relationship between a fish and I think a bird, that where would they pack to? Where would they live when two of them become so? Uh, People like you seem to believe that AAC as a party and every other affiliate organization that we have anything to do with, that we have a clear cut ideology which is rooted in socialism. I want you to help us understand what we mean by AAC's ideology being socialist in nature, and just help us understand what socialism is all about and why it is a good thing that we are merging with PRP.
Thank you so much. I want to first and foremost apologize for coming off and on a bit. I had to use my avatar. There is no electricity, uh, so let me say very much that I want to congratulate all members of our party in the African Action Congress for this alliance. I also want to note that there have been alliances before now. Some of them, we kept not as public as this, but this is very important to us because the PRP is the oldest political party in the history of Nigeria, as it is, survived through from the Second Republic till today, and its ideas is on Talakawaism, which means that the idea of building everything for the sake of the poor, you know, which means that we are talking about a social democratic ideals by getting the people massively. You see, if you look at what Abraham Lincoln defined democracy for the people, by the people, but that's actually socialism, because he talks about this democracy is for the people. Good. It is the people that enjoys democracy, enjoys all its dividends, and they say it's by the same people, which also means that there will not be a situation where somebody will go to the government and be deciding on the people, on behalf of the people. Omoyele Sowore showed this style recently by going simply on his Facebook and did a national research. He did a national survey on Facebook, asking people to talk about their electricity, asking people to talk about what they are eating in their house. That is what they call congressional governance, governance by the people themselves. That was what Abraham Lincoln meant. You get it? You get it? And he said when they now say by for the people, you get it? Is a government that the end is not for making billionaires while billions are in suffering. We have a situation today in Nigeria where the 5 people that are the richest in Nigeria have the money to feed all of us, me and you, all of us, for the next 30 years. They can feed all of us for the next 30 years. And that's Absamad Rabiu, Aliko Dangote, Afolarisho Alakija, Mike Adenuga, and Femi Otedola. And if you look at all these people, they are errand boys for some people, errand guys for some people, which also means that we are in double catastrophe. So if you look at it, when we say it's a socialist idea, it's not saying that we are running back to the USSR. No, there are simple things that are happening all over the world today. Today, I've been for the past 4 days reading so much about Holland. And one interesting about Holland is that Holland has done it to a stage that they have even returned justice to the people. They returned the judiciary to the people to the extent that they started closing up prisons. They legalized marijuana. Many of the ideas that we are talking about, instead of them destroying the estate system, they have great and full compliance with the climate change international position, and even have gone beyond that with the Amsterdam plan. Amsterdam is just like Lagos as it is, surrounded by water, but they didn't go to be leveling the place up and be building some rubbish, Eco Atlantic and what have you. They built it with a very solid plan of having one of the best cities in the world. And today, Holland is one of the best. It's getting a lot of things in terms of social welfare. If you look at it, the countries that are closing up their prisons in the whole of Europe are the Scandinavian countries. Why? They are giving free education at all levels. They are even paying people to go to school. They are giving free healthcare at all levels. They are even paying people to go to school. You may not call them socialists because they have not gotten to a stage where it is the congresses, it is the people's assemblies and the congresses that determines how governance is being done. But Omoyele Sowore has shown seriously here that you don't need to be as good as possible in terms of even bringing, what we are talking about is even advanced socialism. because we are working seriously with Albert's definition of socialism, which he means that advancing human existence and human conditions beyond the praise level. You know, when I say the praise level, beyond what they call consumption today, beyond a situation where some people will be predating on society. No, you say that we need to advance society to a situation where everybody, there is no prey, there is no predator. So it means that we are society to a stage that of what Abraham Lincoln simply counted as a democracy of the people, by the people themselves doing it and for the people. We have seen classical examples. I also give you another example. The late Hugo Chavez introduced something in Venezuela before he died, and I think Maduro followed some part of it. You know, if there's going to be a budget on education, the government make proposals and make the people to vote on it. If there is a budget on healthcare, you know, for instance, you can't just come and sit down and say, I am honorable representing Enugu South constituency. You sit down with one big agbada in your house and write one big budget, bogus constituency allowance, chop the money yourself, do everything. No, we are going to be doing it in a situation that you have to call a Congress of Enugu South, present that thing to the people. People read it, peruse it, go home to read the document, and come back to say, we don't want this, we want that. You know, it becomes a decision by the people themselves. You know, that is a very classical example of, you know, and that's why she already did that with even doing it the internet. There are sometimes that you may not even need to be calling congresses to avoid some other things. You can do it through the Facebook, through the social media, through a situation where so that's it's not rocket science, or it's not one utopia somewhere. No, it's talking about practical bringing governance to the people and making the people themselves govern themselves. You know, it's self-governance, you know, and in a situation whereby everybody is one for all and all for one. You know, we are building a solidarity economy, a social solidarity economy, an economy that will not be based on the gross domestic products alone, an economy that will be talking much more of the human development index, an economy that will care about education at all levels, an economy that cares about healthcare at all levels, economy that cares about how people eat, what they feed on, what is happening to the healthcare, how they live longer, how they, you know, if maternity rate and a lot of other things that the governance is supposed to care. We are not, in fact, you know, the current Nigerian system is destroying the state itself. You find the situation for the past 3 years, Buhari have been shouting, state governments are stealing local government money, but has no power because the neoliberal system, capitalist system that Nigeria is using today, they have destroyed all the regulatory agencies. Otedola can decide that, oh, DJ Kupi's birthday is next week. Oh, hey, what do I do? We just put 2 naira each on petrol price. It will just move from, as it is now, 300 naira to 302. People will say, is it not just 2 naira? Let's just pay. But before you know it, he had made over 20 billion or so. And he will now put it on Facebook and everywhere. I just dash Lamborghini to my daughter, or Lambo West, or Lambo Japan to my daughter, and all of that. And before you know it, people will start praising, oh, I want to be like Otedola, oh, I want to be like this one, and all of that. So these are the kind of system that is a system that preys on people. It's a predatory system. We want to move from that predatory system. We want to move from that system that is parasitic, you know, to a self-sustaining system where each individual can sustain itself and each individual can sustain the collective, which collective can sustain itself and each collective can sustain every individual. And nobody will be left behind. A lot of countries are practicing this. As it is today, there is a new wave of Latin America. Latin America tasted a socialistic party. You know, socialism doesn't come, it comes through several practices. And people get used to self-governance, they get used to self-creation of wealth, self-governance, and self-management. These are just the three things we need that you call socialism today. Is self-creation of wealth, self-governance, and self-sustenance. These are just the three things. You know, when you say sustainable, you put management to things. So these are just the three things you need to build the advanced socialism that we are talking about. And if you look at it, even in our party today, our party is one of the few parties where there is no difference in the membership. Anybody can come from Alimosho and call Dr. Chidi. I say, call Dr. Chidi. Why is this one happening? You have to answer him. Not to say that, oh, I'm a national leader, a global leader of the party. You just talk to me like, no. He's pushing towards classlessness. You know, classlessness in enjoyment, classlessness in challenges, classlessness in tasks. These are the things our party is working towards. And it is when you have all of these things that you can have fairness, when you have all of this classlessness in economy, in social building, in political building, and you have a situation where also political works are congressional, wealth creation is congressional, wealth management is congressional, wealth sustenance is congressional. These are the ways to build society. These are the ways everybody can get justice. These are the ways everybody can get equity. These are the ways everybody can get fairness. We have classical examples that we would use our socialist ideas to resolve, and you can see it. I want to give you one small glimpse of all the people that have been president of Nigeria since 1999. Only one of them had an idea that is close to socialism before. And if you look at how Obasanjo tried to package Yaradua for us, he made allusion to the fact that Yaradua was a leftist. He was the only person that said, no, I don't agree with capitalism. I agree with some steps of social welfareism. But let me give you three examples of what he did. In three ways, he showed classical example of how socialism brings real peace and progress. The first is this. On the economy, which is the oil economy, which Nigeria has been based on, he jettisoned the position of the IMF and World Bank by not agreeing to the deregulation. He did not make himself the Minister of Petroleum. And as at that time, they reduced petrol price from 70 to 65 naira, 75 to 65 naira, 78, I mean, to 65 naira. He also did it to a stage that when it even comes to fighting the Niger Delta militants, he became president when the Niger militants kidnappings and all of that were so massive. And what did he do? He called a situation, asked people to go all around the Niger Delta to make a survey. And when they came back, they concluded on amnesty. For some of us as at that time, it was not the best program, but it was the most accepted, which is congressional. And it brought almost some lasting peace, although at a point it became a piece of a graveyard, after some other government did not sustain such. You get it? And then the last one I was to talk about was on corruption. He meant it. And for the first time, sent a governor, that's James Ibori, to prison. He allowed Edo State Governor Oshomole to win at the tribunal. And if you look at it, Oshomole won at the tribunal, Mimiko won at the tribunal, Adegbeshala won at the tribunal, Fayemi won at the tribunal. This were under the Yaradua government. It was real democracy coming to place at a point. Since then, it's really not easy to get such done. So what we are saying is that a socialist economy is the real pro-people's, pro-masses, pro-workerist economy, pro-youth economy. That, for instance, during that NSAS, how would the socialist political party resolve such a thing? No, what we do immediately is instead of sending soldiers and all of that, no, we have government representatives sent to all barricades to collate demands. And we started acting on that demands until the people leave the streets. And when they see that we are well satisfied with our position against police brutality, because we don't want a situation where even in the police system, it will be, I give you an order, you say, are you mad? Yes, sir. Are you foolish? Yes, sir. No, we wouldn't build such a police. We would build a police that would be in-depth on democratic tendency, in-depth on constitutional understanding, in-depth on a lot of other things. These are the kind of things. And if you look at our manifesto, the manifesto for total liberation is a manifesto that, if it has been what was adopted in 1960, by now Nigeria would have been at the rag. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Comrade Kunle Wiseman. That was an in-depth explanation of what our party means when we say socialism. Some people, it's a bit strange. It's a bit strange. And even though I've seen a lot of the parties try to borrow ideas, but Panadol and paracetamol is not the same thing. Now, Comrade Ina Okopi Ago. Sir, I would want you to help us understand how we've been able to do it and where we are right now. What I mean is that a few months ago, when the declaration to run for office started, and so many political parties started indicating interest to run, there were so many suggestions by some people that, oh, we should not even bother, that nobody knows us, we will fizzle out in a couple of weeks. But how many months later, we are here, we are doing well, and people are even, reaching out to us to say, we want to work with you. Even when we do not have the money that a lot of people spend on elections. My question is, how have we been able to gather this level of momentum from a position where people were saying, oh, you guys just pack your bags and go, to where they are saying, oh my goodness, you guys are the real deal? How have we been able to do this whole thing? How did we bring ourselves to that level in our Okopi? Because I know you are close to happenings within the party.
Okay, thank you very much, wise man, and thank you for that succinct explanation about what our brand of socialism really means. Incidentally, you mentioned, I'm just trying to refer to what Wiseman said. Um, I spent some time in Russia, and if what they practice in Russia is what socialism is, wallahi, let me say it like our Hausa brothers would say, that is what I want. Because the system just works. And um, despite what the Western medias will attempt to describe Russia to be, it is a place where you find your next door neighbor, um, might be one big guy in this. Because he's a big guy does not mean that he lives in a secluded or isolated space. You all live together. And it's like that. That is the kind of society that we all try to build. And the AAC would represent when we eventually come to power in 2023. Now, back to your question, when we started, after we got the party back, and as you could imagine, a lot of people came with all the naysayers came and said, this one that you don't have money, how will you run for president? Now, guess what? How have we been able to go from a party that just regained control on the 2nd of June and today, which is just the 2nd or 3rd of December, we have more than 200, and this took less than 6 days to put together 200 candidates. 200 candidates running for different spectrum without money. And to show you again that we're not a party that is about milking the people, unlike these other parties without ideology, like your normal APC, the regular APC, everywhere, Beleface PDP, the Labour Party, that is now the orphanage of failed politicians. Recall that when the space was opened for people to begin to show interest by obtaining forms to run for election, our party, to show you that we live by our ideology and what we preach, ensured that nobody paid a kobo to show, to obtain what parties like the APC and PDP were charging hundreds of millions of naira for people to run. We made ours free of charge. And by doing that, we immediately made it easy for people living within the society who do not have anything to be fielded for election. Coming election, you would find someone who is a bricklayer somewhere running on the same at the same level with someone from PDP who probably stole money from the state to run. And do not be shocked if our own candidate ends up beating that person, because the party created this opportunity for these people to run in election. We didn't do that. But what has sustained us over time are the small contribution for people who have taken ownership of the party. We have also had people in these other parties that I've mentioned who are probably in that party and thinking, man, even though I'm in this party, I've heard people say that, even though I'm a PDP member, I know that what the AAC, sorry, the AAC, I'm not Tinubu, so this is not brain sleep or I'm dirty. What AAC represents is what would change the course of Nigeria for good. And I know people within all this party who have donated even as little as 1,000, 2,000 to support the cause of us emerging as the leading candidates and the party for the future. So it has been a collective effort from people without nothing and sustaining this push and ensuring that we make a mark. That is the point where we are. So that's what has sustained us. People are beginning to take ownership of the party. People within the APC. I know someone, a senior leader in the Labour Party. We met at an event recently in Uyo. The things she said about our party left me in awe. A senior member saying that we know that what the APC and its candidate, Omoyele Sowore, represent, and other people running for offices at different levels, what they say, if this country can implement it, will be better off. But greed will not let them step aside and do the right thing. But we will not vilify them for doing that. We will continue to reach out to them. And as we go along, you will find people coming to terms that this party actually represents the future for the country. And because we preach what we do what we say we'll do, we preach and do exactly as we preach, people are beginning to take us seriously and realize that we're not actually a force for evil, we're a force for change. And they are contributing, giving their energy, sharing our messages. And from what I gathered tonight, after the news broke of the alliance between us and the PRP, even the people in the Labour Party cannot understand how they came to be. And there is more to come, more that we will not even mention to anybody. And we will eventually make it to the number one on the ballot. And it's just a matter of time. I've humorously told someone, I just told the person, I said, give us between now and January, the end of January, the table will turn. Nigerians cannot be in the come from people. Widows might from all over. You saw what happened in 2018, 2019. The same scenario would repeat itself because almost all the Nigerian prison. So it is a collective fight. We're all doing it together. That is what has gotten us this far. Thanks, sir.
Thank you so much. Don't forget, our listeners and those of you watching us, that we are talking about the merger between the alliance. Let me use that word. The alliance between AAC, which is African Action Congress Party, and PRP, which is the People's Redemption Party, that was announced today. They are still working out the modalities, but they announced it officially today, and that has been creating a lot of buzz all over the place. Now, there's something people always say all the time, and I would like you to help us understand why, Comrade Wiseman. Why is it that people always say, "Hi, oh boy, that sure, that sure." But you know what? Next time, like in 4 years' time, what are they afraid of? Or is there something that has happened? Like, let's say somebody don't chop something, you don't go swear for oracle. Fear can they catch and say, because I don't chop, make this one just pass next time. What is it? Because I hear it all the time. The tables are people are no longer saying, sure, go and sit down. What is this? Sure, we know you're good, but not this time, not this time. Why? Why do they say that? What is behind this statement? Because even the people that say it with a shaky, they don't say it with confidence. They don't say it with confidence. And I keep wondering, what is bounding them? Why is it that you know this is the real deal, but you just create that caveat? I know, but what is in that but? Can you help us understand?
Thank you so much, Committee. And I'm happy that you are raising this because this scenario has happened to us severally. You remember very seriously that when we wanted to, and I'm happy you were one of those who majorly organized that, when Sowore was of the opinion that in resolving the IPOB versus federal government, that federal government should discuss IPOB. They should go on dialogue. People said, this Sowore is just saying it. Can he do it? And all of that. Practically, the discussion came, and not even once, twice. People were left in awe to say, so these guys have this capacity to do that. After that one went, we said only revolution can happen in this country. They say revolution. You think say na my mind. You think say na just to sit down somewhere and they do cataract. But after one attempt, they had to go and mobilize even airplanes, air fighter jets, and everything. The issue is that when new things want to happen, people will always think that, can this one happen? You know, the Nigerian ruling class is so powerful that they have made everybody believe that nothing can change. If you look at most of what our ruling class they are promoting everywhere, they will tell you that who can fight government? Government is the father of everybody. Nobody reach government. They will even tell you to the state that there are some big people, there are some powerful people. If you don't meet with them, you cannot change Nigeria, you cannot do anything. So they own the prevailing ideas. They own it. But there is something very beautiful about us, and that's where I will put an addendum to what Comedina said. If you look at it, the alliance we just got with at the PRP now, it's like a multi-billion alliance. A political party like APC, PDP would have spent billions of naira to get it, because in the first place, PDP tried to hijack the PRP from these vanguards through Kola Abiola and what have you, but they were not able to hijack the members. Now the members have moved majorly and massively to say we are going to AAC to work with Omoyele Sowore. This is what has not happened, I can tell you, since 1960. And even since immediately Nigerians started voting, and the dichotomy between the left and the right has been happening. There have always been the leftists in the south, where you have Michael Imodu, Obafemi Awolowo, Azikwe, and the rest. And those in the north, Aminu Kano, they were not able to come together and synergize. Even Awolowo did everything to synergize with them in the Second Republic. That synergy could not come. The Northern Elements People's Union, then, which later became the People's Redemption Party, were not able to find a common ground with the progressive in the South. So for the first time, we have broken history today by bringing the progressives in the North and the progressive in the South together for the first time. And it is because we have built a political party that is not region-based. a political party itself that has spread deeply in the north. So it becomes easier for those of our comrades in the north to be able to find the hotbeds of the progressivism in the north. And so if you look at it, people are being shocked about what we're doing. And another classic example is what we did. We brought the answers. We did the answers through the October 1st mass action. Because as at 28th and 29th, when NSA and TUC, they don't fuck up, they don't do anything. Pardon my French, I mean, when they don't do anything, when they disappoint the whole of Nigerians. We came out on October 1st, did 56, 52 cities and towns all over the country. I remember in Lagos, the Deputy Commissioner of Police told me that you guys are doing a miracle. You guys are doing magic. And when Nigerians saw that, they said, so even Sowore, we with say now only Sahara reporters get and just now mouth they make bele. Now them lead all this action all over the country. Chai, we too will be out. By October 4th, when Sowore was able to started calling mass action in Abuja, it is thousands of people that started following the actions. So as it is today, if you look at it, the whole of what the ruling class shouted, third force. The only political party they were able to bring together is the Labour Party and the PDP Youth Vanguard, Association of Rogues and Baby Fascists and what have you. But they have not been able to bring major power blocks that are fighting for a new Nigeria together. We have been able to do that. We have been able to unite, get it, with the most downgraded and oppressed Muslims in the north, the Shiite. We have been able to get together to work with even radical people within the Yoruba nation. You get it? We have been able to, it is because we have spent the past 3 good years in constant and relentless struggles and solidarity. It showed just day before yesterday. It's good that the alliance happened today, because as at yesterday, you know, the battle against Aisha, we started the battle against Aisha Buhari over Aminu as a political party, and the influencers now jumped on it. But immediately they discovered that Aminu also mocked Deborah Yusuf, Deborah Samuel. All of them started backing down and were even showing the hatred and all of that. It was only members of the AAC and Take It Back movement that were able to rally around and finish the battle, forcing Aisha Buhari today to be able to start. Because Aisha knows that by Monday, people would have massively mobilized to the court, as we have shared everywhere. So it's because of that 3 great years of great experiences in understanding solidarity and struggle, which gives us that capacity to be able to fight to the end. So the Nigerians are going to be trusting us the more. In the case of Aminu, we said no. Even if Aminu abused Deborah Samuel, make Aminu first come out first. If you come out first, we'll continue justice for Deborah. These are solidarity statements, powerful solidarity statements that even the ruling class is afraid of. We have a dialectical understanding. Imagine that people, somebody that is celebrated as David Dunde came out to say that Aminu should rot in jail and all of that because of what he did with Deborah Samuel. It's because he does not have, he lacked the basic understanding and political knowledge that we have been able to teach ourselves as Take It Backers, as AAC members, for dialectical reasoning beyond our noses, reasoning beyond emotions, to say that, oh, let's first defeat the oppressors. We will now come back to the internal illusions, because we understand that what people like Aminu and co are sharing are illusions. They have the belief that because they are Northerners, they are being protected. But now, when they accused one of them when he did not, the thing is coming back to them. And when we were leading a lot of struggles, North is bleeding, and many of the other struggles all over the country, people didn't know that. So these are the essence of the struggles we have fought so far. So if you look at it now, no matter what people are saying, that doubt is still there. They now know, oh, Sowore has the capacity. And you know, from the peace accord, we have to say, oh, so Sowore was able to tell Shettima, don't represent Tinubu again. And you know, that was the end for them on the debate, using Shettima as a surrogate for the debate. So Sowore was able to stop that. And even at the debate with Okowa, I challenged Okowa again and ended it up by using 30 points to defeat them at the icon debates. And if you look at it, the quality of our candidates all over the country, there have not been any of the debates all over the country where you beat any of our governorship candidates, no matter how young or new to the party. So that radical education, we are a party of tens of thousands. In the history of Nigeria, it has not been easy to have radical revolutionary socialist youths that are in tens of thousands. It's not easy. So the Nigerian ruling class knows that what we have today is like the Brazilian MST being led by Lula. You get it? And you know, each member of the AAC is like 10,000 members of the APC. Each member of the AAC is like 1 million member of the PDP, although the whole of PDP is not up to 100,000. So that's on the lighter note. But comrade,
But what he has said
you know,
is true. The whole of PDP is
they
not
were
up
able to mock us in the
I'm not sure they're up to 20,000.
Sorry.
So
Sorry,
the
I'm
thing is that they
losing
were able
you,
to mock
comrade.
us in the first place. Yes, they were able to mock us in the first place. And now they are beginning to doubt. What all of this shows is that we are convincing people with praxis. We are convincing people that we have the capacity. Nigerians are already clear about our ideas. We have won the prevailing ideas. We have won all of the debates. You know, unlike in 2019, they have not been able to stop us from the debates now. They have not been able to send us away from the debate. Instead, they are the ones we are sending away from the debates. In 2019, they will put us away from the debate, but now we are the ones sending them away from the debate. Instead of them not to debate with us, they will go and create a separate debate for themselves. And look at it. From the day of our declaration till today, despite the fact that we are poor, we have been part of the first 5. All the others are multi-billionaires. But we are a poor party. But from the day of our declaration, even when we didn't have a political party officially, we have been part and continue to be first 5. And if you look at it, what happened to the PRP, the trajectory that happened to the PRP, happened to the National Conscience Party, happened to the SPN. It's either they take away your party from you when they see that you are radical and progressive, or they send people to hijack that party. It was only AAC that survived the hijack. We survived stealing the party, and we continue to sustain the party. Even when they took it away from us officially, we were still running our party. You get it? At least INEC have not recognized us when we elected somebody like Comodina as General Secretary. So what all of this show is that courage, that dexterity, that audacity the Nigerian ruling class is afraid of. So an average Nigerian is a product of the prevailing idea. It's a product of what they hear in the radio station, what they hear in television, what they hear from his dropping. Is that can these people really do it? Can these people really do it? Can these people really do it? But when it gets to that stage, as we are continuing to show that capacity, continuing to organize, continue to mobilize, continue to do a lot of publicity and propaganda. Before, the obedience we are the one bossing everybody on Twitter and everywhere. But now we are the kings on Twitter. We are back to that leadership again because we have had 3 good years of internal great trainings, internal sustenance, internal organizing together, internal mobilizing together. And as it is, because the Nigerian ruling class have also shot themselves in the foot by putting the time between the date of nomination and the day of election so long, about 8 months. We are the only political party that have that dexterity to run it from fights from beginning to end, because we have gone past through this. We have been mocked severally, we have been doubted, and we have continued to show in all the struggles we have battled since the past 3 years, there have not been anyone we have lost. And as it is, we are going to go undefeated to Aso Rock. It's going to be from Lugugoma to Aso Rock.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. A lot of people, I know for sure, and this has been repeated so many times. If you search the minds of people and the hearts of people, they know where they belong, go. They know the kind of Nigeria they want. And I'm so glad that this time around we had a very we had great opportunities to be able to talk about our manifesto. We were the very first party to publish our manifesto. Some people think that, oh, people always they struggle and they hurriedly go and write up a manifesto. Initially, they thought it's going to be business as usual, and they kept saying, even the Labour Party, APC, PDP, they know you don't need a manifesto. However, no, our presidential candidate will bring his manifesto when it is ready. Can you imagine? You are already a presidential candidate and you don't know what you're going to do. You're still, do you understand? That show is a document. It's like somebody who is writing an essay and homework. He's still gathering the thing, which means you were not even ready for the country. We were the only ones that since 2019, 2018, way before then, we were set with a manifesto. We were set with an ideology. It didn't change. So we came into 2022 right now, getting ready for 2023. We came into this election already knowing what we want to do for the people, unlike so many people. So the point I'm trying to make is that people know that AAC is the real deal. They know that Omoyele Sowore is the real deal. And this alliance is already sending shock waves to people. And you see, our people have a proverb that it means not be the first person will start to run and they win the case or the race all the time, or go and watch marathon. And we have been on a marathon. People forget. We always say that this is not a sprint. You know, people when they do 100 meters, if they come to a marathon, they blow the whistle, they take off. Come and see them now 4 or 5 hours later in the marathon and see where they are. So this is a marathon, and we behave like people who do those marathon races, slow and steady, using our stamina. We get the stamina, we keep going and we keep going. Now, for a lot of people who watch this video right now, I'm not trying to pick on a political party, but a certain political party has always painted itself as saints. I'm talking about Labour Party, actually. We call a spade a spade. And someone say, oh, Chidi, you're going after the Labour Party. The reason why I go after the Labour Party sometimes is because APC is very clear with their agenda. We know what they want. We know they've killed us. At least we have evidence. They kept us in the position we are today. PDP, we know who they are. We know their antecedents. They are not changing. But Labour Party is the one that came masquerading, saying, oh, we are for the people, where they use, we're an extension of, they even say take it back. They borrowed everything, used every alliances, used existing movements, say that they are the NSAS generation. But is it exactly what they have claimed to stand for that they are doing? They came and convinced us that, you know what, we know they give shishi at all. We know they give shishi at all. In fact, so much so that their members were sharing a video some time ago of an event that happened in Lagos, not knowing that those buses were actually Labour Party buses. When they discovered, they stopped sharing that video, and a lot of them were heartbroken. I'm going to share a video with us now before we continue. And this is not, I'm not just trying to diss anybody, but just to because somebody was asking me, Chidi, why are you not in Labour Party? I said, I don't play games. I don't believe in lies. I live a very simple, straightforward life. Don't come and tell me that if it's better for me that you're not a good person, but you're trying to be good, you'll be my friend. But that you are a thief, an armed robber, a killer, all those things, but you come and wear white and carry cross and tell me that you don't do those things at all. Now, I'm not calling anybody a thief or an armed robber or whatever, but let us watch this video and you just tell me what you think about this video, especially when people have claimed to us, say they know they give shishi at all. Some of you, when you watch this video, because of your political affiliation to Labour Party, you're going to be very disappointed. And I'm saying this just to help you in some of the decisions that you're making. This video is titled "Drama as P2B Supporters Fight Over Money After Labour Party Rally in Abia State." The reason why I'm showing this is because someone also asked in the comment section, why are you not forming an alliance with Labour Party? Well, I already said that it's like an alliance between the bird and the fish. When two of them can't join together, where would they live? Watch this video. Okay, let me pause the video. And the reason why I had to show this video is because these are the reasons why you will not see us forming an alliance with Labour Party. So many other reasons which I would also want my guests to talk about, because a lot of people have been asking, why don't you form an alliance with Labour Party? Why don't you form? And now, when they see that we are forming an alliance with PRP, they are heartbroken. They are thinking, why didn't you choose Labour Party? So, starting from you, comrade Aac Prp, I always want to call you Inalego because that was my pastor's name.
That's okay, sir. It's still the same thing.
Is that the same thing?
Yes, it is.
Oh, so Ina is short form of Inalego.
Of course. You see, as you called it, where if you give other people, they'll scatter it.
No, okay.
Especially people like Wise Man.
Wise Man will say is Inalego.
Okay.
Anyway, back to the discussion, comrade. Please, why have we particularly chosen not to form an alliance with Labour Party, and instead we're going to form an alliance with PRP, even when a lot of Labour Party members have been cutting us all over the place, pursuing us, come and form an alliance with us. Please come and form an alliance with us. So why have we gone this way?
Thank you very much, sir. To add to what Comrade Wiseman had said, you see, when you hear them say things, the things they say about Sowore, the reason I want you to take away from this discussion is this. It is common human behavior, especially funny people, to demonize a man they admire simply out of envy. They know he's the real deal, but they cannot understand why one of their mates, someone in their generational bracket, is doing the kind of good work he's doing.
By the way, Ina, have you noticed at the time they said Sowore was jealous of P2B? Now they are no longer saying it.
They won't say it, sir, because it's just pure jealousy. This jealousy does not just end with people of this his own generation. Even older people feel this strong jealousy, because this is what they wish they could do. And some of them will get together and form all the tiny group that are now up to 5, 6 people. And it never goes bigger than that. And this is a man you knew from nothing. You knew from back in the university. You never gave him a chance. Suddenly, he has put together a formidable group that is becoming a critical mass and could change the course of our nation's history. So when you see them say all these negative things, they know they can't pin anything on Sowore, but it is simply out of envy. Even though they admire him, they still want to demonize him. But we understand that. Now back to the other thing you said about the Labour Party. I need you to know this and know this and know peace. There is a difference between the Labour Party and Obi's candidacy. Obi, the analogy I would draw for Obi and the Labour Party is this. Imagine the Labour Party as Moluwe boss. Obi needs to go somewhere. Not because he really likes the Labour Party. He would have preferred that he's in an air-conditioned bus with tea served. But the Labour Party is available. So Obi is taking advantage of the Labour Party to try and advance his agenda. Now, this is what to expect by the time this election period and season are over. The Labour Party would be destroyed because of Obi's ambition. By the time this election is over, Obi will find his level and go somewhere else. So there is no love. Don't ever mistake because he wears Labour Party shirt, you think he's them. No, he needs the vehicle to advance his cause, which is what he is doing. But he knows that there's a dead end. And by the time he's done with them, nothing will be left of the Labour Party. The little life they had before will be completely destroyed because of that greed. I need you to understand this. So the simple reason, I already answered this before. They will not, at least we have formed one. And there are more to come, mark my word. There are some discussions going on the ground with they will never imagine until we announce it. That will shock them to the bone. When you this is the one they prefer, they do something. What they want is just to continue to perpetuate themselves in power. And let me tell you something again. When you see them, some of them will come out tomorrow morning to scoff at us. This alliance that's just been made public. And by the way, let me also say this. It will not just, the discussion is not just a plan in the larger picture. So that let us make them go mad, finally. It is not just alliance, there's a major. And by the time we're done with that, we will begin to seriously gather the momentum that they fear. They attempt to mock us. This is what we must take to heart. When the last election held in 2019, many times, the votes that you hear them call for the PDP, APC, and then the one they allocated to us were basically allocated vote. The coming election is the beavers. The beavers will change a lot of things. Nobody should beat his chest, because the same people, these brothers, their root goes to the local government and the wards. But because we've never really had elections in the past, it is difficult to test their strength. You get what I mean? But with these beavers, we are sure that by the time they implement it the way they have explained it, outcome will shock people as to what people desire for this country. So the merger, that is coming to pass in our lifetime will, of course, usher in a better, like I've said in the past. Marry someone just for the sake of marriage. It will be common good of the totality of Nigeria, not because it is a marriage of convenience going on in the Labour Party. I've said it again and I will say it. There is a difference between Obi's candidacy party. Don't mistake him wearing their cloth as being their member. There's no difference between him and Atiku. He was not joking. He told them the truth, but they will not believe it. So you cannot Atiku. They are all the same. I think that is where I will hang my boot on this very matter. The discussion is a clear one. We will with someone who clearly does not know where he's going to, with a party without an idea and win an election. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Aac Prp. I really want to thank you guys for coming on to talk about this alliance, and a lot of other alliances will happen. You know, a lot of people have discussed with me about the politics of Nigeria and the upcoming elections. When I've asked them about ideological issues, about ideology, a lot of them don't have anything to tell me. They just say, no, we just want to just win. So like, you don't have any plans, solid plans that have been put to test amongst all the candidates. It's only AAC that throws his plans out there openly, very practical, sometimes too simplistic to be real. Very, very simplistic. The other day they said we need to invest in Igbo. We said, hi. Now, wow, can you imagine? Upon all the scientific, sophisticated ideas, all Sowore can think about is make they go sell Igbo. Until they turned around and saw that the world was making billions. I'm telling you. Then they now turn around and say, now, wow, this guy is smart. Oh. This time around, we are saying things like, we want to, and I'm going to speak French now, we want to generate electricity with sheet. Say, ha, now, wow, sheet again. This will not come again. The other time, like, but this one now, I say, make we come begin to collect sheet everywhere. I say, oh yeah, Sowore, tell us, is it sheet like from cow and goat? He said, no, even human sheet. Oh, waiting. So now waiting one constant. You see, but these are very simplistic ideas, yet sophisticated. Yes, Sowore was talking in one program. He just said, you know what? And he said it at a very succinct moment. He just said, you know what? I think I am actually way ahead of my time. He didn't say it out of pride, but I was watching him. It just kind of a moment of realization. It hit him that so many things he's talking about, a lot of people, it takes them 4, sometimes 5, 6 years to say, oh, is that what he was talking about? So guys, I really thank you for coming by. You see, when I tell people, they say, what's your strategy? He's not doing rally. He's not doing rally. People, you just go to a rally and you just shout and then you go back. You want us to tell you about rally. We that mobilize, you want us to tell you about rally. That's why we don't, when you claim that, oh, you don't give shishi, and yet we have tons of videos. All these videos, even the guy who is commenting in the comment section, Mataya, can you please comment on the video that you saw right now? Everybody who says, you know, they give shishi, that I played that video, they didn't have any comment to make. They just shut up. I say, see, we are not waiting to get to that. We don't have that kind of luxury.
Doctor sir, don't mind them. After their candidate, I'm talking about Obi now, made it to the Labour Party. The news broke now. It was all over on the I wasn't the only one who saw it. That heavy money exchange hands, you will never hear them talk about that. And when you bring it up, they don't want you to discuss.
We know they
It
give.
says we should go and verify. Did you hear the news that broke today, yesterday, how that Professor Soludo employed because of the death of teachers in the public school sector in Anambra State? So the question is, development and the reforms and the things Obi claims to have done in the, what was he telling us to go and verify? If there's a need for the governor, the current governor, to employ 5,000, you know what that means? It means there were no teachers, or there were just a handful of teachers when he was governor.
Well, thank you, my brother. Comrade Wiseman, what are we going to?
Okay.
Go,
Let me
go
hear
ahead,
you.
go ahead, go ahead. Say what you want to say.
I wanted to say that on the position of the Labour Party, Comrade is pretty much on point on the fact that we can't even, what we are saying to members of the Labour Party, especially those of them who are not members of the PDP Youth Vanguard, those of them who believe in the social welfare position of the Labour Party, that manifesto, even that small manifesto where the first bring come out, Obi cannot even allow it, because Obi is a practical example of what Atiku wants. You get it? So we are asking obedience, that it's time for us to be disobedient to this system of greed and power. It's not over until it's so. They should come and join AAC massively. They should abandon Obi before Obi abandons them. And we're going to be doing a historical standpoint to this, because it's the same thing with Zik and Zikists. The Zikists, when they knew that Zik had already abandoned them, had to take to struggle. They were the one who led the King's College protest of 1946. The people like Mukugo, Okoye, and a lot of them. And it is from one of the statements of Zik, where he now reviewed why he didn't agree with the Zikists in the Second Republic, that he said that the Zikists were not obedient. So it is from there that people like Obi to want to make Nigerians obedient. To build a real society, you cannot be obedient to a system that is disobeying your personal welfare, that is disobeying your collective welfare, that is disobeying collective economy, that is disobeying collective healthcare, collective education, or what have you. So if you look at it, they ran to the Labour Party because they felt that the Labour Party wanted to have this alliance that we have today should have originally been an alliance between the Labour Party, National Conscience Party, AAC, and the PRP, and even the parties like the Socialist Party of Nigeria. But you know, through the fifth columnist, they ran to Labour Party to hijack it after paying billions to the usurpers there. And you know, the Labour buccaneers who are in the NSA and TUC ran towards them because we have already defeated them in the argument. Before, the whole of Nigeria, progressive and left, used to depend on NSA and TUC to fight the federal government. We are the first political party that said, no, we can continue to organize the people themselves. That's why we were doing October 1, Revolution Now, June 12, several struggles. So those goons, those are saboteurs in the labor movement, are afraid of us. That's why they quickly brought somebody who they could bring in a lot of sentiments to the labor movement. So Obi himself is a direct opposite of what a real Labour Party membership should be. But you should also know that it's classic them. In the United Kingdom, they did it with Tony Blair. Tony Blair brought the Blairist ideology of neoliberalism to destroy the Labour Party UK. The Labour Party UK from then to today has not gotten itself, despite all the great works by people like Jeremy Corbyn and co to rebuild that political party. So we are on the course. And if many of them didn't know, they didn't follow Showore's declaration speech in Abuja. We have stated this clearly. Our pursuit is the unity of the oppressed. And as it is, the oppression is getting higher and higher and higher. Our pursuit for the advancement of the unity of the oppressed will also be getting advanced and advanced and advanced. Thank you.
Thank you very much, comrade. I'm going to stop this discussion here. I just wanted to have this on record because a lot of people will just come in to see whether we are talking about it on our different channels or different platforms. And that's why we had to broadcast it widely. We've shared it both on my link on my channel, Worship Media TV, on YouTube and on Facebook, and on Revolution Now Movement Facebook page. We also shared it on Take It Back Movement, both on our both our YouTube channels and on our Facebook. So it is official that AAC and PRP is forming an alliance. I've told people, they keep asking me, what's the guarantee that Sowore stands a chance? And I've told them, contrary to widely held opinion, when you come to the southeast, there is no one single organization that holds the greatest influence in the southeast like the IPOB. And which presidential candidate has the closest relationship with the leader of that movement? It is Omoyele Sowore. I've asked them, have you ever heard IPOB in an official capacity talk about any candidates? And they will say no. And I'll ask them, why were you shaking? Why were you trying to piss in your pants just because you heard that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was acquitted of the charges against him? You just started panicking. That shows he has never been with your candidate or with you. He knows where his affiliation is. That is in the southeast. And now you go.
And even when Mazi wrote Showore a letter, most of them were shitting their pants.
So anyways, um, we will see what happens as the day goes by. Thank you so much, comrade, for joining in. We're gonna have this. We're gonna continue this discussion on several other platforms. And please, thank you so much for being steadfast in this struggle. I must tell you, people like you open my eyes more to, just like we discussed this evening, the brand of socialism that our party, the African Action Congress, has put forward and is advancing daily by our activities. And for the rest of us who are members of the African Action Congress, I want to thank you for not giving up. We may not be rich, we may not be plenty as some other people want to show that they are, but one of us is equal to a million, 10,000 of them. And that is how we roll. Thank you so much. You see, Mataya, somebody in the comment, you say, Dr. Chidi, I like you, sir, but that's how all of you keep saying, but you like Sowore, but you like, in your heart, and that's how on that day you're going to follow your heart and vote. Just continue the liking, and we'll see what will happen that day. Thank you so much once more, comrade.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the great work.
Okay, thank you. So, guys, this is where we're going to wrap this whole thing today. And you'll hear more news about more alliances and more mergers. It will shock you. It will shock. It will shock you. You know, go believe it. It will shock you. And that is the real politics. Even I talk say we know they do politics. No, we know they do the general politics where you could just gather people around, shout, they will go. Me, maybe I ran for governor. If a crowd you won't gather, there's a way to gather crowd. Crowd, they will come for you today. Tomorrow they will go to another party. In fact, some of them came to me and they say, Oga, why don't you shift your campaign? Why don't you shift your rally to Saturday? I say, why? He said, Oga, because we get APC on Thursday, we get PDP on Friday. But if you go shift your own to Saturday, just drop your t-shirt with us so that by the time we come, we will now wear your own t-shirt. So don't be deceived by the crowd, please. I'll see you guys on another broadcast. Take care of yourselves and bye-bye for now. Okay? Bye-bye.